Likely terrible, especially if she wants to play the woman card. Could his attacks against former President Bill Clinton also backfire, or is there a chance they could actually garner support from independent women, for example, who aren't crazy about Hillary Clinton to begin with?
Well, I think that's an interesting question, and that's really the question that will define what happens going forward. But, in the short term, what Donald Trump is doing here is opening the door. He's giving cover to a lot of other Republicans. It's hard to imagine anybody else going there quite the same way with Bill Clinton as Trump has, and yet there are a lot of people concurring with his assessment that, if Hillary Clinton wants to play the same Democratic play of the war on women strategy, this might make it a little tougher for her to do so. And so a lot of Republicans do believe this is fair game, and they may now be able to go harder at this because Trump has sort of opened the door. But Bill Clinton's a pretty good campaigner, one of the most popular politicians in American public life right now, and so he'll have something to say about this too. It's been about 2 decades or so that Americans have sort of had a chance to come to grips with the messier aspects of Bill Clinton's private life. So whether there's an appetite to go back to that, whether it just seems stale, I think we're going to be watching that very closely in the next few weeks and months for sure.
And we're talking about Bill Clinton joining the campaign trail tomorrow. He was expected to hold 2 events in New Hampshire, one of them being a town hall. How much do you think his involvement will help Hillary Clinton?
Well, he's the comeback kid in New Hampshire and still has to have some resonance up there with Granite State voters. And that's a state where Bernie Sanders is doing quite well. I think where Bernie Sanders would like to notch a win and really make this a longer primary process. And so Bill Clinton's going there to really, kind of evoke a little bit of nostalgia, remind people, what it is about the Clinton brand that is so strong and that can be trusted going forward. I think in hopes of maybe narrowing Sanders' lead in New Hampshire and really helping his wife consolidate Democratic support, saying to everybody, look, she's going to be the nominee, and you can trust the Clinton brand because given where his approval numbers are right now, I think that he probably is thought to be an asset, and I think what Trump is trying to do is maybe make him less of an asset and give the Clinton campaign a little more pause maybe about setting him out on the trail.
And very quickly, Eli, on the Republican side, which Republican candidate stands to lose the most in New Hampshire, you think?
Well, New Hampshire is the place where an establishment challenger, the anti-Trump or anti-Cruz, is supposed to emerge. And so really, the stakes are highest for Rubio, Christie, and Jeb Bush. Really, whoever doesn't finish first in that grouping, in those 3 in the so-called establishment lane, is going to be very hard for them going forward out of there. Usually, these establishment voters, they're pragmatic. They vote with their head, not their heart. They're looking for whoever it's going to be who's going to give the party the best chance to win next November. Right now, that's a very muddled picture. All 3 of those guys have some flaws, and so that's why you haven't seen that establishment lane really coalesce behind Rubio or behind one of those 3 people. And, that's what the next month is going to be about. It's going to be very messy if all 3 of them are sitting there around 10%, 12%, and no one can really, get momentum and become that clear alternative to Trump and Cruz.
All right, Eli Stokols, live for us in Washington, D.C., national political reporter for Politico. Appreciate your insight for us this Sunday morning.
Thank you.
Coming up, a look at huge cleanup efforts already underway after days of devastating flood.
At Safelite, we know how busy your life can be.
Oh, no.
This mom didn't have time to worry about a cracked windshield, so she scheduled at Safelite.com. And with Safelite's exclusive On My Way text, she knew exactly when I'd be there. Hi, Steve at Safelite.
Thanks for your text.
I replaced her windshield, and she didn't miss a single shot, giving you more time for what matters most. How'd you do?
We won.
Nice. That's another Safelite advantage.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Hunger and malnutrition will kill thousands of children today, and it will leave thousands of others very sick. Without enough nutritious food, these children are slowly dying. What if this was your child? What would you do? What will you do? Hunger and malnutrition are terrible things for a child, but it continues to happen. and they continue to suffer. The time has come to change that, to take action, and to help stop the suffering of these innocent children. Please visit this website or call this number to join the U.S. Fund for UNICEF with your monthly donation right now. For only $15 a month, just 50 cents a day, children, just like this, will finally get the food and nutrition they need to survive. We'll deliver it to the children on your behalf. It's a simple action, and just 2 quarters a day to give these children what they need to survive. And it's a chance to completely change their life. So what will you do now? Please make the call or go online to help.
Introducing the Kia Holidays on Us sales event. Get a Kia Optima, Forte, or Soul with no payments due for 5 months, including your first 2 payments on us, plus 0% financing. With those kinds of savings, you can afford to enjoy the holiday season even more. Because this year, the holidays are on Kia, with no payments due for 5 months, including your first 2 payments on us, plus 0% financing. Discover more joy. Discover the new Kia. Hurry in today before the holidays are over.
In Missouri today, a huge cleanup effort is underway after days of devastating floods. At least 15 people were killed and thousands of homes and businesses damaged by the record-breaking swells. The Weather Channel's Reagan Medji is in St. Louis Forest, where the floodwaters have only just started to recede. Reagan, what's it like on the ground out there right now?
Good afternoon, Eamon. Right now, everyone is just trying to dry out. And we are in Eureka, which is Old Town Eureka, just inside of St. Louis County in Missouri. And if you look behind me, that road is closed, and this area was underwater a couple of days ago. We have some footage of Arnold, Missouri, right next door, part of the region that was impacted by the flooded Merrimack River. Now, this is the St. Francis Episcopal Church. If people out there watching have never been part of a flood, I'm going to show you what it's like days after the water receded. If you have been involved in the flood, unfortunately, you'll know what I'm going to be showing you. This is right now what's happening here in Eureka, Missouri. We're trying to rip out as much flooded, wet, drywall, doors, contents they can. So the workers with Precision Restoration Services here in Eureka are taking the drywall and they're removing it. So when you are a victim of a flood, this is basically what you have to do. The workers here, this is a drywall, so what they do is the water was up to maybe about my waist, and I'm about 5'4". They get special equipment to see where the water has risen, and then they cut above that line so they can get as much wet out. So we're going to go back here. I'm going to try to dance around everybody who's working because I don't want to get in the way. So when I talked about the fact that they draw a line and they have to go above where the water seeps up, check this out. So the water looks like there's a better defined line of where the water was, and you can see that it rose a little bit more. So right now, this is on the other side. They've got to cut all the way up here, rip out everything. We're going to go back here. And this could be some, this is a church, but, think about homes and businesses, what people have to do. So right now, the last step in the process, this is called mitigating, which is removing everything, is they take their carpets up, they roll it up, and you can see, I don't know if you can come back here. Again, we're going to be doing the dance. You guys are doing a great job. If you go back here, again, this is what would be the beginning step. So we kind of went backwards in everything's out, a little bit more and a little less. So you can see that it's a lot of hard labor. And this isn't happening just for today.